I think we're just really excited to get started. My soul has been somewhat rejuvenated with really starting from ground zero with a very young group, but really excited. We've been working hard. I think we could all say we've been making mistakes, but they're valuable mistakes, so we learn from them. I'm ready to take this group on the road. I'm really excited about what this is going to look like. It's not going to be your traditional look that you've seen in the last 4 years, but it still has all the championship mindset, mentality, grind, grit, humility that is coming at you.
Patty, it's interesting. I was wondering where you guys would start out in rankings and things. I know you don't care about it, but it was interesting. What does it say about your program that you can graduate the most iconic program class in the history of college softball? And I researched, there's nobody even close. And yet, you come back with a new generation of players, and everybody still believes you have a chance to win it all, and you're ranked in the top 5. What does it say about your program?
Yeah, I think it's just respect for the program. And nobody knows this team.
Right.
I'm still learning about them. We're all still learning about each other. So just respect over the course of the year. And it's an honor to feel that way because you believe, people out there, coaches out there, just believe that we work hard and that we'll try to get ourselves ready. So I take it as a compliment.
Patty, you mentioned,
Patty, you mentioned last week the importance of going to mid-major schools in California this next week. Just why was that important for you, one, and then two, how special will it be to return to your alma mater?
Yeah, well, I got myself in a little bit of trouble because I'm not trying to condemn those that are putting on tournaments that are not related to college softball. I'm really not doing that, and I owe someone an apology. So besides that, I have a lot of passion for I grew up in California. That's where my coaching career started. A lot of our players are from that area. I just thought we got to go find weather. We got to find good teams. This is not going to be an easy challenge for these guys because I'm taking them from San Diego, get on the bus, let's go to Cal State Fullerton, get on the bus, let's go to LA, get on the bus, come back, let's go to Long Beach State. I mean, we're traveling a lot, but I want this team to understand that there are other programs that are as important as we are. And maybe people aren't talking about them, or, the NIL is not really big in their conversations, but we can't forget about that. And I just find that, I've thought about it a lot, and I find it very important to, I don't know how much money we might be able to help them with, but if it's anything that can help their budget, help their stadium, anything, I felt it the right thing to do.
Patty, you mentioned kind of starting at ground zero with this team, with so many new players, so many young players. Just through the fall and through these last couple of weeks, what have you seen through that process of this team maybe finding its own identity and kind of starting from that ground zero?
Yeah, we're getting. We're getting there. We're getting there. I don't know. Our product that you're going to see is not going to be perfected, but it's going to be good. And it's going to fight. That's one thing I know, is these guys are not going to quit. And I felt that from the start. So they're hardworking, they're focused. It's just, if you could imagine coming in as a freshman and saying, oh my gosh, this team has won 4 national championships. So what is my job? To win them a 5th. That's not what we're asking for, but it's just common feel for them, and if we can just get them to settle in and not worry about the outcomes, but really about the process of learning and together and those kinds of tough situations, fighting through them, you'll start to see us rise. And I'm really excited for you all to watch what this might look like, because I'm very excited to see it.
Another question about scheduling, Patty. Past few years, you've had a run of top 25 teams in the non-conference before you had conference play, and I know strength of schedule was always a consideration. Obviously, the SEC strength of schedule is going to be pretty top-notch, but I'm curious about the balance of having a new team, relatively new team, non-conference, and sort of trying to figure out the balance between tough non-conference and, knowing enough about the team before you get to SEC, but maybe not having that gauntlet of top 25 teams like you've had in the past.
Yeah, I still feel like we've got a pretty nice challenge in front of us. So it is just getting our team prepared for the SEC because it is a gauntlet. But if I'm throwing gauntlets at them, then I don't want to walk into the SEC with our tail between our legs, like we didn't get done what we wanted to. We're still having a strong midweek with Oklahoma State. Kansas is on their way. Wichita State is very good. We've got Baylor twice. Marshall is good. We've got good teams coming. So I don't look at it as a weakness. I look at it as us building a foundation for when it's time.
This is for the players. I want to ask Ellie and Nelly, just taking over that leadership role after losing so many veterans last year, how big has that been for you personally? And then for Abigale, just can you talk a little bit about, as we get closer to the season, do you feel like the intensity's ramping up, or you get used to Coach Gasso's style even more now than you did in the fall?
I can start. Stepping into this role, I think me and Ella can say that we've had a lot of great advice from obviously TRA, Kenzie, and all the rest of the seniors that we had last year. So I feel like we got a good start, but we're still learning every day. And obviously this is a new team, so we're still figuring out our path and where we all fit into this equation of our team.
Absolutely. I agree with Nelly, and just having what we had last year and being able to be under their wing and being prepared by them, it's made it a lot smoother transition into becoming more of a leadership role. But still, like Nelly said, we are still learning and we are still growing into that leadership role as well.
For me personally, I know a lot of the newcomers were kind of getting used to Coach a little bit of how she coaches, but it's definitely day by day. You learn something new every day, so that's exciting. But just being able to be here and kind of learning from the best, it's really fun. And so the intent is there. And so just being able to be there every day and being excited for that.
Patty, reclassifying become more common across the board, but what was that process like with Sophia, and what can you realistically expect from her?
She is quite behind, and I think she knows it. When you miss a complete fall, you're jumping in to a team that already has the system down. And so she's just trying to learn the system. The goal was to get her to be able to throw some BP against us, to get in with Coach Rocha, listen, learn, get strong in the weight room. That's what probably the biggest thing that we're looking for, is that she gains strength. If we had an emergency break the glass, bring in Sophia, that's the only way we would ever do it. But I do want to maintain her red shirt unless we absolutely need her. But I think it's great. I'm really excited about what her progress. She's going to be so ahead of her normal class that's coming in next year. I think she can lead them, guide them with her experience as well.
Okay, you mentioned the work every day. Where are you seeing kind of the biggest jumps from where you guys left off last fall and fall closed down to starting back up into practice as you ramp into the season next week?
Probably our culture. I feel like we've definitely gained as a group a lot more just like information and things like that. I feel like we've been able to grow as a group on the field and off the field, and I think that's something that we were able to do throughout the winter break. And so that was definitely a jump from fall to spring.
So, Abigale, you talked about this being like your dream school and things like that, playing here when you were 10 years old. What has it been like for you so far, just like living that dream out? And I haven't got to play a game yet, but just being a part of this program. Amazing.
I walk into the field every day and it's just like, wow, I'm here. It's just so grateful to be in this facility. Every time I walk in, it's a dream come true, like you said. And so I feel like it's just not taking a day for granted, and just being able to kind of show other people that, and kind of making sure like we understand that we're here for a reason and just play our hearts out.
Come, James.
Patty, you've always had great power in your lineups, and I know you're going to have power in this lineup too, but the speed factor is really exciting because you've got a lot of it. Heck, Ella, I think, was your stolen base leader, and she's back as a sophomore. So talk about that factor and how that could influence some of your decisions this year and how you manage the team.
Yeah, it's going to, I'm trying to learn how to manage when to use it, how to use it, because it's been a while since we've had such a very efficient, quick, aggressive team. So when we're running bases, you've got to think as an outfielder 2 bases ahead, because that's where they're heading. Abby Dayton is one that's going to absolutely create chaos, not just at the plate, but on the base pass. We've got probably 5 or 6 really legitimate stolen base options that will likely be in the lineup. So, yeah, I don't want to mess this up. I got to get this right.
Healthy?
Yes. I'm excited to see her. She's had really good practice days, and she's still a little bit behind in some areas, she would tell you, but she looks wonderful. Yeah.
I wasn't going to ask you about this, but can you dive in a little bit more to the decision to bring in Sophia, have her reclassify, but sit out? I mean, I'm sure that was part of the conversation, or redshirt, it sounds like.
Yeah, she had already, we didn't even talk about this. She did graduate actually in, I think, June already, a year in advance. And I didn't even know it. I'm not normally looking for that. And she told me that she was going to go in the spring and live in California and train with her travel ball team and get a job. And I'm like, what if we could get you in here? And I talked to her mother, who was just an elite, I think she might have been an Olympian, but she was an All-American, a Texas swimmer. She knows about college athletics. And I said, we could do this. And they were all in. It made more sense for each party. And what she's going to develop is just, she's going to have such a major head start. And I foresee her being one of our elite pitchers in the future.
Can I ask what I was going to ask before you did? I was going to ask about your pitching staff in general.
Okay.
And the one sitting next to you, her role and all of that. Where do you feel like the staff is right now and how you're going to use your arms?
I think you're going to see a lot of confusion from the other team because we're going to be bringing in pitchers whenever and however and as many times as needed. So to be honest, right now, Sam Landry is leading this group, but we've got a freshman who is real, Audrey Lowry, who is really starting to be a tough pitcher for these guys to face. I mean, she's very unassuming. She just looks, but her ball moves. She's throwing the ball hard. Peyton Monticelli has improved tremendously. KD has the experience. She's doing her thing. Bella Smith, you did not see in the fall, but she's ready to come in. So I really like what we have going on. Miss Ella Parker's been in with Coach Rocha, maybe not as much as we want to, but I think she is definitely an option as well.
I'd like to piggyback off of something that Abigale said. So from the outside looking in, you guys are 4-time defending champions. However, you've got a lot of new people. You got a lot of people that haven't been through it before. How critical is it that you have some people who still have that hunger and haven't been through it yet? And does that help the veterans stay focused?
Yeah, I love that Abby Dayton is here, that Ilana Agbayani, and all of our incoming transfer athletes came here for a reason. And I know what the reason is, and I don't even need to ask them. They want to get trained hard, and they want to win a championship. And having them here, you can feel their energy. This one over here is full of energy every day, every second, every moment. I hope you do sleep, right? Do you sleep?
All the time.
Good, okay. So there's just, I think, a burst of energy that we got from the transfer athletes on top of our returners saying, okay, we're here, we're 5 strong or whatever they had. And they needed these transfer athletes to come in and say, hey, we're with you, we're jumping in, let's go. It's the freshmen that it takes them a little bit longer to learn the system and just to get their feet settled. They don't want to make mistakes. They don't want to let us down. And the harder they try, the less smooth it is, the harder the decision-making is for them. So we're just trying to smooth this out. And I think once we get on the field and we play against somebody else, it's really going to show us where we're at.
Go Eric in here.
Patty, NIL is really taking over college athletics now. We can't write stories without writing about that. But I want to ask you about your program. You've built the brand. These ladies have built the brand to where it's at now. Does that help balance things out with NIL and then maybe wanting to play for the brand and what this program's all about? Does that help you as a coach?
Some of them have their own agents, so they get a lot of things going on the side that I usually don't know about. But I'm going to be honest, I'm constantly, as far as I could go with what we can and cannot do, I'm always trying to help these athletes with raising money for NIL. And whatever it is I can legally do, I'm doing it because I want them to have a life when they leave here with a nice little bank account that has a nice little nest egg in there for whatever it is they choose. And I just keep thinking, and I've said this at our banquet, I think of Jocelyn Allo. And what she's doing now, she's doing well. But if she was a man, she'd be the first pick, I would expect, in the draft and make millions of dollars. So why would anyone look at that? Women are not making millions of dollars. They're making hundreds of dollars. And there's a big difference. So why not help them? And at first my attitude was like, oh no, that's going to get in the way. They know it can't get in the way. They know that. So as long as they're working hard, we're working, Jackie Livingston as well, we're working behind the scenes to try to set them up with whoever we can to where our boundaries allow. But a lot of things that they're doing, I really don't know much about. I don't even know if that answered your question.
I got one for Coach, one for Nelly. Coach, I imagine we'll be seeing a bunch of combinations in the field defensively through the non-conference, but you've got all new faces behind the plate. How's that come along with Isabella and Corey Ryland and how they've kind of progressed defensively since starting in?
They're getting there for sure. What the hardest thing is to get them out vocally and really make decisions for us. And you're just used to Kinsey Hansen absolutely taking control of the field, and you knew always where you were going, what you were doing. They're new, they're uncertain sometimes because they don't want to make mistakes, and it's just hard. I don't know if you've ever heard a coach say, good, make mistakes, because we've got to learn what you're not comfortable with. And if you're just real reserved in it, then I can't tell, none of us can tell. So they've really elevated. Now some of their calls maybe are not right, but that is how we learn. If they don't say it, we don't know. So I like what's going on back there. It's much more firm, and I feel really comfortable with it.
And then Nelly, you're in an awkward spot of, not awkward necessarily, returner, but not having played last year. What's this last couple of weeks been like for you ramping into finally kind of get out there as the team goes next week?
It's definitely a learning process. I've just been trying to take everything that I've learned from the team last year and kind of put it into this team this year, while also learning more about softball, the game in general, from coach, and just learning how this team works. But I feel like it's been very exciting. I mean, every day is a battle, every day is a challenge, and there's battles all over the field every day. But I just feel like it's very exciting, and I'm ready for whatever this season is going to throw at us.
Yeah, ready. Nelly, one of those. piggyback off of that, just what was last season like for you, redshirting, going through rehab and everything like that, and how exciting is it to finally get back on the field?
Yeah, like I said, a lot of learning. I've just been trying to be a sponge and take in everything that I can, especially throughout the whole season, but more towards the end when we were in the World Series. That was just a great opportunity to be able to watch my team from the side and be able to cheer them on, but also understand the feeling of what it's like being there, and just try to take that feeling, remember it, put it in the back of my head, and just grind through what season is like now and how season will be through the rest of this year.
Patty, you got so many new players, I'm kind of curious where everybody's at and where you think they're going to be at when you start next week. Can you kind of run through what you're going to be? You know, we got to talk some ball.
Well, you'll see these three in. Is that enough?
You got 6 more spots.
Right now, probably Abigale or Emmerling, Bella Emmerling will be behind the plate, likely. You'll see this one in the outfield. Sid Sanders, pretty confident there. Ailana Agbayani, shortstop is still a battle. Pick is in there. Someone that's really elevated her game is Maya Bland. And Hannah Core. So there are battles still going on till the very end.
Patty, to that end, with so many new faces and still looking for spots and stuff, just how much is the early season helpful in terms of finding out different combinations, different players that can go different places, and how much do you kind of approach the early season in terms of maybe trying out different things?
Yeah, I definitely feel I'm going to be doing that. I think we have good opportunity to bring in like a second crew to come in, maybe to defensively in the outfield or defensively in the infield. We do have people that can come off the bench. There's young Corey Hicks is a catcher that is still learning quite a bit, but she can take a swing and change a game in one swing. So there's lots of opportunity. I just really want to give everybody a feel for what this feels like, because the more we're gonna take in every game. We're gonna really break it down, understand it. So I guess earlier the question led me to the early preseason is going to be probably the most important part of our season, because if we aren't ready going into the SEC, it's too late to try to get ready.
Is there an exciting part of that, maybe, just in terms of this early season before preparing for the SEC, just in terms of still figuring out this team and where everybody's going to be?
When the last 4 years, 2 weeks before the start of the season, I'm like, okay, we're ready. Let's go. We can go now. We're good. This team, I feel like we're going to take it to the midnight hour before we get on that plane. Not literally. I can't do that. But I think we want it. I think we need it. But I can tell you that I just have a really, I don't want to say like a mom, but like a cool older sister that is watching her younger sister in college, and I'm going to be there just really, I'm fired up. I really am fired up. I am so excited because they've worked really hard, and we have shared a lot of things from the personal side as well as sharing a lot of things on the field. And the way I know them right now, I'm not just coaching them, I am so rooting for them. I really, really am. It's just a different feel, and I'm really excited.
Abby, I'm wondering your background, being from Norco, obviously Kenzie's high school as well, Batbusters, so many Batbusters on this team. What's it been like to transition into a program that probably feels somewhat similar to things that you've felt before? What's that been like from your perspective?
It's still definitely challenging. just being able to learn every day from Coach, it's definitely a different perspective than what I have been through in the past. But I have been through that kind of thing with my travel ball coach. And so just being able to be with like Batbusters and even hear Nelly, you know, it's just so fun to learn from them. And it's just a competitive atmosphere, kind of how Coach said with the outfield, we're always competing. So just being around competitive players, and it's just been fun.
You obviously came from a competitive program, a college program. What's been the toughest transition, though, coming into OU for you?
That's a hard one. I feel probably just going to practice every day and knowing you're going to learn something different. I feel that you always think that you know everything, but there's always days where you're like, wow, I don't know how to throw today. So I just feel like understanding even the little things you can always get better at, and there's just always tweaks and things that you don't think that could be tweaked. And so just kind of being able to have an open mind going into practice and understanding that they might change something here because it's going to help you in the long run. Yeah.
James, James.
I got this is a two-part. Ella, you're such a unique player because you can run and you're a power hitter. How is your game growing up in your second year? What do you set goals, or what do you think you're going to be doing this year as a player?
Honestly, I'm doing whatever it takes to help out my team. I think being able to learn from JT and all the coaches have been really helpful in just finding different ways to elevate my game. So just being able to do whatever it takes to pass the bat, do anything to help out my team.
And Patty, we got to do this at least once. You know, it's always fun to talk.
Didn't we just we just did this?
No, we haven't talked long
No,
you have a number 9 hitter.
Nope.
Like Riley Boone.
No. I'm not ready for that. I really am not ready for that. I gave you names, but I can't put them in order yet. I don't even want to try.
Okay.
Not yet.
You just talked about it just a little bit here, but I mean, last year it was all about your thought process to play, things like that you were really working on. What did you take into work on in this off season, in this period, to try to get better for this season?
Honestly, I kept the same thing, and just knowing that doing like I just said, just doing whatever it takes to get better for the team, and just being all in for my team has really helped me focus more on what I need to work on, all in regards to all of softball, but just doing the little things, staying in, being in the first one at the field and the last one, just doing little things to help better the team.
Patty, we know how much of a grind it is for you to try to get the type of schedule you want. I was wondering with the non-conference and with Love Field, did that make it easier? Were there some teams that wanted to come to Norman to just experience what that's like?
I think so, yeah. And we try to make it. We really try to take care of teams that come here financially, as well as just giving them a great experience at Love. So I think it's very challenging. It may be not the big name you're looking for, but they're all waiting for us eventually. So this is just, it's going to be still a challenge. We have to go into the early part of our season and really come to a conclusion we're ready. And that's really important for us to enter the SEC. We got to be ready for that.
Patty, you were concerned, I don't know if that's the right verb or not, but concerned in the fall about leadership. You obviously not only had a very talented senior class that left, but a very big personality senior class that left. What have you seen in terms of who's stepping forward and how that void gets filled? Because that's a whole other part of things.
Yeah, I just went directly to those returners. So these two are in a captain pool along with Pick. Hannah Core has some really good insight. Who am I missing? Sid Sanders as well. I just need a little bit of senior leadership, and she's the only one we have. So that's a return. So those five I reach out to, we get together, we talk, I try to get the vibe of what's going on. But the one thing that has been really cool, and I'm not going to get too far into it, but we've really gotten deep into the souls of some of our athletes and trying to cleanse whatever might be holding them back. And man, there's a lot going on. And it's a good thing because it's going on with all athletes or non-athletes this age deal with a lot of things we don't know about. And what I love about them is they were brave enough to tell their stories, which made us a closer team, which made me understand who they were. And those are things that haven't really happened in the past. So that's why I hope they feel the same, but I feel like we're stepping in more as arm in arm because we know the struggles. I've shared some of mine. They've shared some of theirs. It's been pretty cool process of connection when we just are so brand new. But they were so outgoing and forthright that I've never had a team do anything like that before.
Did you guys direct that, or did you bring somebody in, or?
No, we directed it. Yeah.
Patty, we've talked about the what you need on the field out of the non-conference, but these first 2 weekends, it always seems to be a chemistry building opportunity to take the group on the road. I know you had a quick road trip in the fall, but with so many new faces, how important is it for you guys, almost just off the field as far as these first couple of weekends, to build that extra chemistry?
Yeah, it's important. Maybe that's why we have a lot of bus rides this first weekend. And bus rides are where you connect. If you've ever been on a team, if your bus is quiet, then you got a problem. If your bus is rocking, then good things are going on. If there's a lot of laughter, but sometimes it's quiet because they're sleeping as well. So there's a lot of things that can be happening, but as long as there is energy and fun at times, you know they're connecting. What is important is that individuals don't show their frustration because maybe they're not getting what they want or they're not in the lineup as much. I still need to see and feel good teammates, good like for the team versus for self. And not everybody's going to get probably what they want, but that's part of being a team, and that's where the captains step in and recognize those things.
2 more questions. Anybody else? Okay.
Ella, can I just ask you a little bit about the pitching aspect of things? How comfortable are you? How much work have you gotten done, and what do you sort of expect from that side of things?
It's just, I don't know. In the fall, it was kind of like just getting back to where I started from the past couple of years, but just being able to rework some things and fine-tuning some things, and just being able to be under Coach Roach's wing has been really helpful. And I am not too sure, but just being able to know that I can possibly help out in whatever way. But just a lot of just learning from Coach Rocha through this fall and now this winter has been really helpful.
Do you feel more comfortable as?
Absolutely.
Ella, I wanted to ask you, just embracing expectations. You have a lot of expectations this year. How much did being around last year's group really make you understand what expectations are and what reality is?
That past group was very special, and I was so grateful to be a part of that, and just being able to soak in everything like a sponge to them was really helpful, and just being able to transition that into this year has been really special to be a part of, and taking that and hopefully being able to pass that on to our newcomers this year is what I
want to ask you too, just JT, we look at him now where he's at, the respect he has, not only within the team but nationally. Can you pinpoint where his biggest growth has been from year one when you first learned and then the coach worked with him to now? Where's he made his biggest growth?
Personally, it's the mother-son versus head coach, assistant coach. So that's just between us. And how there was a lot of this going on because we were talking to each other like we were, so we had to understand that we cannot do that. And that really helped out. But JT, all of these guys will tell you, he's a master of, he's just so unique, and his style of teaching is really fun. Like, you can listen and you can watch and you can hear him. He has good clips for us. But he's at a different level because he studies. He's a science guy. He loves to learn. He is always calling me with new things, very creative. But I know that the style is something that our players really enjoy, and it makes sense. And I'm proud of him. Thank you.
Close with James here and then we'll wrap up.
This is for the players. You guys are all hitters, so I'm curious, and you've been facing your pitchers all year. What are other teams running into with your pitching staff, which Patty has indicated is really good, so what are they running into?
A little bit of everything. I'm just ready to see them pitch to someone else.
I mean, she said it. They got everything. I mean, they're holding us down at practice, keeping us humble. But, yeah, we got a bit of everything, and I'm excited for them.
I don't want to give away their secrets, you know? But, yeah, exactly what they said.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.